everyone who came to meet me at the Arnold. That was awesome, man. Thank you.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So there are only a few times when a video or a camera can truly capture the true size of an athlete, especially those guys in the men's open, and more specifically when that person has some of the biggest legs in the entire bodybuilding history. But this recent update from Rubiel, while he was posing for the crowd, that paints a great picture on what kind of an animal Rubiel truly is in person. Now to answer the question and all the comments that why do we keep on featuring Rubiel even though the man has only competed twice since turning pro? Well, because the man is a very unique talent, very unique individual, and if only he accepts the fact that in order for him to excel as an IFB pro, in order for him to bring that next level of conditioning that the judges and the fans want to see on this guy, he has to accept that idea of staying on a very hot diet for a very long period of time, just like all the other top IFBB pros. But that being said, this physique update that pretty much confirms that he isn't prepping for this upcoming New York Pro, as it was claimed by the head judge of the Olympia, Steve Weinberger. And the reason I'm saying that, Rubiel isn't in that kind of shape for 9 weeks out to be 100% ready for a show like the New York Pro. He just isn't lean enough for 9 weeks out. And if there is anything that we learned from his Dubai Pro prep last year, which was a long prep, is that he needed even more time to diet than what these guys initially anticipated to get truly shredded and absolutely ripped. Now, I do believe we all want to see him back on the stage this year, and we want to see him compete more and more, at least more than once per year. So last year he was being talked about as a potential top 10 Olympian, and this year the fans do not even want to hear about him. So Hostile just dropped some Sherpa-lined zip-up hoodies and Force hooded jackets. So do check him out and use the code Fazi10 to get 10% extra discount. Next up we have an update from the Beast, Akim Williams. With him looking great at this past Arnold, but still placing top 6, that made things clear as a sky that those other slots, where the judges are most likely gonna place him, especially if the lineup is as deep as it was for this year's Arnold. So could Akim have looked any better than what we saw a couple of weeks back? Well, he looked pretty damn impressive in my opinion, and this has been an ongoing trend with him for the entirety of last year. So out of all the 7 shows that Akim did, starting from the Arnold 2024, there wasn't even one where Akim was off, and that also shows that Chris Aceto, he will forever be one of the greatest coaches of all time, especially at that highest level. So Akim had this reputation of being the most inconsistent guy when it came to peaking for all of these bodybuilding shows, and his reputation changed altogether in just past 1 year. So the good thing is that Akim is already qualified for this year's Miss Olympia in October, and now he can really focus on a big off season coming ahead. So at this point, we just cannot expect him to make any big improvements, especially in his back, more specifically in the back double biceps, because that is a genetic thing. Plus, that is also a nerve related issue. So what more can Akim Williams do to move up the ranks, especially in the bigger shows, like the Arnold and the Olympia? So a glimpse of how Roelly Winkler's arms are looking at the age of 47. So we all love Roelly as a competitor because he was the real beast and the real freak of nature of his time, and he will go down in the history as the guy with one of the craziest arms of all time in the entire bodybuilding history. So great to see Roelly passing that knowledge on to the younger and the newer generation. So can someone, even an IFB pro, have that same level of arms as the beast Roelly Winkler himself if they follow that same technique that Roelly followed, take the same gear, the same PEDs, and probably the same diet as well? Well, the answer is a very big no, because the genetics are the main component here. And the biggest example I can quote here, that is of Ali Bilal, the reigning Arnold champion, who revealed that he doesn't even train his abs. And still, the man probably has one of the best midsection in the entire bodybuilding world right now. And his serratus is just bonkers. So Roelly had a good long 10 years pro career. He won his first pro show back in 2010, and he did his last Miss Olympia back in 2021. So for most part of his career, the man just kept on chasing size. And that just wasn't the right move, because without the conditioning, the size alone, that just wasn't enough. And the conditioning was just never his top priority, until it was. The year he got truly ripped, that was 2018. And then he was able to beat guys like Dexter Jackson and William Bonac, and that too multiple times. And he was able to make top 3 at the Olympia that year. So his biggest chance of winning the Olympia, that was back in 2019, as he was the highest placing guy from the Olympia from the previous year. But the man just missed his mark again that year. So Roelly, in my opinion, would have consistently placed higher if chasing size or putting on more muscle wasn't his main priority for all those years. So do you guys consider Roelly Winkler among those guys with the top 3 best arms of all time? So last year, the most anticipated pro debut in the men's open, that was by Good Vito. And the man did such a good job as a rookie in both the shows that he did. So this year, all the eyes will be on COLOSSUS Ken, because he is undoubtedly the biggest freak that hasn't been tested against the pros just yet. Now the man has totally transformed his physique in the last 1.5 years. The size that this guy has been displaying in all of his recent physique updates, that is kind of scary. And at this point, we can say that this guy isn't gonna be outmuscled by any of these other guys, including Nick Walker and Martin on the stage at this year's New York Pro. So the one thing left to see here is that whether Ken can match the condition of some of these top guys who are gonna be competing at this upcoming New York Pro and some other shows that he's gonna do afterwards. So we keep on going back to his physique, to the time when he turned pro. He had superb aesthetics, great lines, and one cannot even imagine how that beautiful flowing physique that is gonna look like, with tons and tons of muscle added to that frame, and that too in all the right areas, without blowing his waistline, without compromising any of his aesthetics. Now it is always so exciting to see such raw talent coming into the pro ranks, and I think we can all agree that this guy is an exceptional talent. He has all the tools to be one of the best in the game. And do not forget Evan Santopani's prediction about COLOSSUS Ken, that if Ken gets peeled enough, he's gonna be really hard to beat. And if that footage of him pausing for Evan, which was 10 weeks out of this upcoming New York Pro, even if that doesn't justify his true size, then I have got to say the man is gonna be monstrous in 8 weeks time at the New York Pro stage. An awesome picture of 3 of the most dominant champions in their respective divisions, Jeremy Bundia, Brandon Hendrickson, and Keone Pearson, who all got together today. So Jeremy cemented his legacy as a 4 times men's physique champion. Brandon Hendrickson, he's a 3 times champion in that same division and is trying to win his 4th. And that is why he's coming back this year after a gap of 1 year. And lastly, we have Keone Pearson, the best ever 212 athlete to step on that Miss Olympia stage, who is going for his third 212 Olympia title. So let's talk about Keone Pearson. So it isn't just the guys on the YouTube and the social media who think that he's unbeatable. Listen to what Regan Grimes has to say after both these guys did some back training together. It is all praise for Keone Pearson, and we might be looking at a guy who's gonna have the same legacy as Derek Lunsford in bodybuilding.
So, he's very, very locked in, 2-time 212 champion, going for 3, 4, 5 maybe, who knows. I don't see anyone coming close to him in the near future.
Keone Pearson is gonna eventually switch over to the men's open class in maybe a couple of years or maybe in 3 years, and he's gonna be going after that Miss Olympia title. And you better believe that if Keone puts on another 10 to 12 pounds of solid muscle on his frame, while at the same time he keeps his midsection in check, which by the way he has done till now, there is no reason that he cannot fight for the men's open Olympia title too. So this is a guy who was ready to retire at the age of 30 a few years back, and now his mindset has totally changed. He has gotten more mature. So I believe his fiancée, she also deserves a lot of credit on making Keone a better bodybuilder all year round. His team knows that Keone is head and shoulders above the rest of the competition in the 212. And still, there won't ever be a time when Keone isn't training in the gym, when he isn't putting in work. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.